Good evening. Now, I wish to discuss with this evening the nature of religion, which I think is an important topic, even in modern society. Where to start? I suppose there are many religions in the world. Don't believe in any of them, personally. I find religion to be quite possibly the most obvious usage of one man's gullibility and another man's willingness to exploit that gullibility for his own advantages in terms of power, money, dominion, lordship over the rest. Religion, it would be in some ways quite nice to be able to believe in it, don't you think? Wouldn't it be lovely if I actually believed that, for example, if I lived a good life I might get to heaven, or that people who lived bad lives might not get to heaven, or that it really would be difficult for a rich man to get in as hard as it would be for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle, or for Dives to go to hell and Lazarus, the beggar at the gate, to get in up there. Wouldn't it be lovely? It'd be absolutely wonderful. Wouldn't it be really lovely if the Methodists were wrong and in fact Jesus really did turn water into wine? I mean, if one was so against alcohol, like some of these strange brands of Christianity are, surely it would turn the wine into water, but no. He certainly didn't do that. But anyway, I digress. Man, put simply, was created in God's own image, and for the last 2,000 or so years has been steadily repaying that compliment. God now is very much created in the image of man. Many religious practices around the world are based upon relatively common sense values, relatively common sense scientific and medical practice. For example, circumcision in hot countries is a perfectly reasonable thing to do because it slows and discourages disease and ill health underneath the foreskin. Whereas in colder countries and people with a bit more hygiene, less so. Again, in hot countries, religion tends to dictate that you bury the body very fast. Well, isn't that sensible? In England, where it's cold 90% of the time, we can hang on a week or so before a body needs putting underground and making sure that the family and all the guests are invited and things are put in newspapers and, flowers are ordered and the catering's all ready and blah blah. But no. In hot countries, for example, in another Christian country, such as Brazil, they bung them under the ground as quickly as damn it. And why would that be? Basically for the reason that pre-refrigeration, the body would have deteriorated very quickly and made it terribly unpleasant. And of course, in previous times, it would have been easier to get all the family together and quickly. Now, of course, people need to come from other parts of the country, make plans, other countries in the world, for example. So the practice of religion is very much based around sensible medical usage. It's very bad in Jewish and indeed in Islam, in Jewish religion and Islam, to to eat the pig. And of course, in hot countries, pigs tend to get infected with worms and that kind of thing. And if you eat one of those, it can be bloody awful. So I'm not surprised that they said, oh, you mustn't eat this because God said no. What better way of stopping people eating things if they believe in God than tell them that God said? It's sensible too. But it means nothing in terms of pure religion. Anyway, what religion is effectively about, as I said at the start, is about power and control. And arrogance and fear. Power, let's examine that. In 1558, for example, Queen Elizabeth I of England realised that the best way to obtain power over her country was not to have a duality of controls between her on the secular side and the Pope, a foreign controller who tended to come under the influence of foreign rulers, European rulers who were obviously a lot more proximate to the Pope, in control of the spiritual life of the country. So she effectively settled upon England, and this has remained true ever since, of course. Her father did it originally, but in a rather less settled manner, and of course her sister Mary killed a lot of people who didn't want to go back to the old ways, the old country. So she settled upon England, the Church of England, which, as I say, is a good refuge for atheists and paedophiles and homosexuals, frankly. And now boring women as well. Have you spotted? Now that women are allowed to be priests. Boring, gossipy, fussy, fat and rather unattractive women.